Greetings, Demon Busters. It is I, Void, the magic rabbit of law from Foxhound. This is something I've been meaning to do for at least 2 years. There have been some that have joined raids to gather masses, or just to help out. Yet, they avoid doing so either, out of confusion, fear of messing up the entire run, or thinking they are too weak. That ends now. This raid was put in the story quests for a reason. And I emphasize, raid, you are not expected to handle this alone. In my experience, if you can do a minimum of 3,000 damage, you are capable of contributing to the fight. Suginami is a simpler ordeal, but Shinegawa is more confusing as I've heard. Yet, it's more forgiving the solo. As a refresher, let's look at the map. Huge thanks to the Busters putting that together. Yet, it may be more beneficial to visually experience the lesson while the barrier is up as it is now. Use this time to form a party if they have buffs, and call the tower you are doing. Even the heaviest of hitters can do so much. And towers are not always a solo feat the veterans won't host forever. Maybe. Even you may be the one hosting someday. I'd have ran this myself. But unfortunately, you need 2 to even enter. Which is why I will be taking the right side. And Shade will handle the left. If you're unsure about running a tower, don't be afraid to ask for someone to go with you. In my opinion, I strongly recommend you use a card located in a comp shop to boost your overall damage. And don't forget to grab a rope. They're acquired from the comp shop as well. Or by exchanging 25 horse papers at the Demon Buster.
Wait! If it's your first time running for the day, indulge from the Demon Buster, not Gomery. Trust me, not only is it cheaper, you'll get a damage boost and won't suffer poison. It'll be the death of you if you don't.
Let's go! First things first, we're going to head to Tower E and gather 3 Petras owned by the Incubi. The main objective is to gather 1 Petra from both Incubus and Succubus, the former being located in Towers A and E. But for this occasion, I'm going to grab 3 of each. RNG can be cruel at times. It's best to have your deposit card used and go into your auto loot settings so you don't have junk. Keep attacking until the Petra drops. After you grab the Petra, head to the closest tower that has the other one. In this case, Towers B, since we went to E first.
Alright, my turn. Tower D and A will be the ones I'm taking. Normally there are optimal routes to take based on where you spawn. Personally, just pick the tower that is closest to you where you spawn. The last thing those busters need is to do a tower on the other side of the map. It will just be more time waster for them. The only demons you'll need to keep an eye out for are the Outs. They have aggressive AI. Alright. Everything's in order. Unless you're confident enough and know what you're doing. I advise against soloing this.
I've got to hurry!
After all towers are suppressed, giant incubi and succubi will spawn. Take all of them down. Don't worry if you run out of time. Since you already spawned them, there's no need to hit them again. Prioritize killing the mini-bosses. Also, before you hit the towers, type in the team chat that your tower is ready. Like for example, BR. And then wait for everyone to say there's a ready before hitting them. Damn it.
As I said, if you're unsure on your survivability, ask for a partner. Don't be discouraged for dying. Have bombs at ready or ask a person to revive you. Respawns are disabled in Diaspora. If you are under-geared, the triangle set that drops in Diaspora will be enough for you to do damage to the enemies. After the boss spawns, 5 mini versions will appear by the towers. If you're a player user, just make your way to the southeast of the map. Your work here is done. If you're a demon user, a hybrid, or a player user, it's your job to kill one of the mini Astaroths. They can only be hurt by your partner. After you beat a mini boss, the barrier protecting the main boss will go down. This will allow you to damage him. Tyrant Astaroth. Not exactly a too nasty foe. By nature of a raid boss. He boasts high HP and high rank spells expected up to this point. It shouldn't be too much trouble. The only thing you should be wary of is Marin Karen and Fought Brat. The latter will muddle you. He also has access to a skill called Knockback Bash, which is a counter skill to everyone in the vicinity. So take note if you're melee. Last but not least, is a mechanic unique to Diaspora bosses. When Astaroth gets to a certain threshold, he will prepare a lightning attack. Luckily, he doesn't do that in this version, but I will explain that later in Shinegawa Diaspora. The barrier may come back up after enough time has passed. Attacks are ineffective with the barriers in place.
Fear not. Just kill another mini-boss, and the barrier will vanish.
When it's down, hit in with everything you've got. Even if you aren't towering, help out your fellow DPS. There's strength in numbers. Let's finish this! Now, grab your loot, and use your rope so you can click the purple box to grab extra masses. Also, please pick up everything in the box. I can't stress this enough. It'll be easier for everyone running, so they're not searching for unused boxes. Now, off to Shinegawa. Shinegawa operates in a similar way as Suginami, but is a bit trickier. Instead of Petrus, you will be mixing key fragments to make a key that is designed for the tower you take. This map details the colors of the towers and locations of the key fragments. This may look overwhelming at first, but ignore the resuppressing tab. In the grand scheme of things, these spots are the only ones that matter. Unlike Suginami, the towers don't have timers, so you don't have to worry about them unsuppressing themselves. There's no wrong way to do the towers, but most combinations that people prefer depending on where they spawn is CG, DF, IA, and EB. Personally, I tend to do CF because I spawn on the left or bottom side of the map most of the time, or CG if I get spawned near Tower G. But if we're really strapped for deeming users, I would take Towers IA too because I know I'm fast enough to do them and because the mini-boss is weak to the skills my main demon has, unlike Odin who spawns at E. If you decide to tower, call out which ones you're doing. No matter what tower you do, you will grab a white key in these two locations. They are needed to mix with whichever color tower you do. If you're doing Tower C and G, these will be your spots to go to. Pick one spot that's closest to you where you spawn. These are for FD, for IA, and EB.
To make this simple, I will take Tower C, F, D, and G. Void will hand IA and EB since I'm over here. CG is the best option to call. GD will also work as I've heard. Since Void is at the bottom, CF would be the fastest because it's a straight path up. And he can grab his white keys from here. First, we'll grab white keys. Unless you're at the bottom of the map, you will always get your white keys from here. Yeah, if you start a party, set the loop to either damage or free for all. And for all our sakes, please avoid using AoE skills because it'll slow others down from getting their white keys. It also slows them down from respawning. They all have a chance at dropping the key, but Angel has the highest chance. So go after her first to save yourself time. Grabbing C now. Item mix the two fragments and make your way to the tower of your color. You don't need to say you're ready to hit the tower, unlike in Shugi. Hit the tower and move to the next one. Heading for Tower F. If this is your last tower, your work is done. Make your way to the top of the map. Heading for Tower D now. And finally, Tower G. You may notice Tower H laying dormant. Don't worry about it. It's not mandatory to suppress it. Now that all 4 towers are taken care of, your work is done if you're a player user. The demon users will handle the rest.
All right. We'll head to Tower E to pick up the multicolor key. If you spawned here, this is where you grab your white keys. I'll grab these extra keys just in case. We'll get to why later on. Hitting Tower E will spawn Vision Odin. He can only be hurt by demon partners. Odin isn't too dangerous, but he does boast a whopping 270,672 HP. If your demon is not stacked out, he will take a long beating before going down. Fire! Physical and almighty skills tend to be the elements he doesn't resist. So let others know if you need some extra damage. Though in my experience, most that call these towers are prepared with demons ready to melt through them. Now that he's down, he'll drop the black key which is used for Tower B. But for now, we're heading to Tower I. Like Odin, Thor Vision will spawn and can only be damaged by your demon. Thor boasts 271,074 HP and will strike you with his blunt attacks or electrical discharge. He is very weak to Mystic and Force-based attacks, so barrage him with those if he shrugs off your assault. He will drop the white key when brought down. It's used on Tower A. nerfed in Metatron. Voice of God, highest in the angel hierarchy. And a recurring super boss in Imagine. In order to even scratch this warrior of light, you must dispatch the thrones to disable the barrier. Metatron boasts an enormous 803,458 HP, 100% physical and magical resistance. Unlike Astaroth, he has no weakness to exploit, excluding chain expertise skills to give him a weakness. Hit him with everything you got, but ignore Mystic Nerve, Mind, Light, and Dark skills. His method of attacks are Severe Force and Light skills. His strongest attack, Judgment, will make short work of any unprepared Demon Buster. Unlike Metatron, it is calculated off the foe's HP. If your strongest team members aren't in the ring, wait for them to make their way to the boss. This is so you can rush him down before the lightning is triggered. A unique mechanic for Diaspora bosses. It is triggered when he is brought down to a certain threshold. This section covers the situation if you fail to rush Metatron down. When the lightning strikes, it hits everyone on the map. Not only that, some towers will be unsuppressed. Have someone on standby at Tower B to dispatch the thrones again. As long as they're dead, the barrier's down. Since Tower I was freed, we must make our way there in dispatch door.
If you feel like lightning is about to hit, guard. It will prevent your skills from being disabled. And if the damage dealers in the team isn't damaging him quickly enough, jump in. They'd greatly appreciate it, and you wouldn't have to stand around.
That concludes Diaspora. If there are bits that you forgot, refer to the timestamps in the description. Like before, use your rope and pick up everything so those coming back don't have to. Search through loot. Well, good luck.